I don't even really know how to explain how I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I still love her. I'm just not in love with her like I used to be. That's the nicest way I can say it, only because I'm annoyed by how fake she comes off.
Breaking story we have today about Jay-Z and Beyoncé is that they are over. The two of them are pretending for their fans, they're pretending for the cameras, they're pretending while they're on tour that they're still a couple.
Jason Lee, the loudmouth who built his fame by saying what everyone else was too scared to whisper, suddenly fires a public shot at Beyoncé. And not just a soft punch, he practically hints he's sitting on marriage-ending secrets about her and Jay-Z. Like, honestly, what possessed him to even step into that fire? Fans immediately ripped him apart, labeling him desperate and thirsty for clout, claiming he'd lost it for daring to come at the queen herself. But now the crowd's pausing. Like, hold up, what if he wasn't bluffing? This entire storm didn't just appear out of thin air. It's been simmering since way back in December when Beyoncé threw her Renaissance movie premiere in London. That ultra-exclusive, invite-only spectacle where A-listers show up just to inhale the same air. Jason, who's forever bragged about backing black artists and blowing $40,000 on their tours, genuinely thought he was guaranteed a spot.
Don't include other black leaders in the culture in the poll. I mean, that just take me out of it. Breakfast Club, I mean, you should have honored and brought more black, and I spent thousands, over $40,000 in tickets and shared the experience with friends. And I've done a lot, and I'm not even going to say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, will go.
He didn't just sound wounded. He sounded calculated, like a man who knew exactly how to turn rejection into power. Then came the plot twist that flipped everything. During a live taping of his show, Jason stared straight into the camera, bold and steady, and teased actual receipts. He swore he had dirt that could shatter Beyoncé's entire image. But here's the kicker, he said he wouldn't spill unless Kelly Rowland came on his show. That's not just mess. That's straight up blackmail dressed as drama.
I don't know how to explain how I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I still love her. I'm just not in love with her like I used to be. That's the nicest way I can say it, only because I'm annoyed by how fake she comes off. Her brand, not her. I don't think Beyonce is fake, just like I don't think Kamala Harris is a bad person, but sometimes your team can make you move in a way that does not translate well. And as I've become deeper into both the culture, pop culture, celebrity culture, this and that, and have looked at the whole world, I kind of have a better sense on what's real and authentic and true and what's not.
At first, everyone brushed it off, thinking it was just classic Jason being messy again. But now the energy shifted hard. Divorce rumors are spiraling, and whispers of Beyoncé walking away from Jay-Z are exploding everywhere. And fans? They're piecing things together like crime scene pros, wondering if Jason's so-called bluff was actually a loaded warning shot. Yep. Now everyone's replaying that old Jason Lee clip like it's a straight-up prophecy. What once got dismissed as clout-chasing now reeks of eerie foreshadowing. And this is where the drama goes nuclear. People started digging deeper, and what they found is insane old interviews, buried whispers, and a mountain of shady coincidences that connect some seriously powerful names. See, Jay-Z and Diddy have been tight for years, more like brothers than just business allies. And with Diddy's name now tangled in heavy allegations, that bond suddenly feels shady. And let's not pretend, Jay already admitted to cheating on Beyoncé. That's not gossip. That's cold, hard fact. But the newest whisper? Beyoncé supposedly just found out Jay was still cutting deals with Diddy even after his empire started collapsing. And that, allegedly, was the final straw for Beyoncé. Not just the cheating, not just the disrespect, but the gut punch of him standing beside a man buried in scandal while the world burned around them. And suddenly, those fiery Jason Lee rants don't sound so wild anymore. Maybe Beyoncé didn't freeze him out just for drama. Maybe she cut him off because she knew he had real dirt. Maybe that whole Kelly Rowland interview stunt wasn't some petty flex. Maybe it was the price tag on Jason Lee's silence. And maybe, just maybe, he's still clutching those receipts, biding his time to drop the bomb and watch the world explode. Because let's be honest, if things are already this unhinged without Jason spilling a syllable, imagine the storm if he actually talks. Jason wasn't just flapping his gums when he hinted about sending a message to Beyoncé. That wasn't some random flex. He sounded like a man who knew exactly where to press and had already tested the limits. He even dropped Kelly Rowland's name like it was part of a signed deal, warning that if she didn't show up for that interview, he'd start unloading receipts big enough to break the entire internet. And when those words left his mouth, the room went dead silent. You could read it right off his guests' faces, wide eyes, tight smiles, pure shock. Nobody even bothered to fake it. Jason just sat there smirking, teasing, dangling that secret like a loaded weapon, letting the silence speak louder than words. The man was playing chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers. And guess what? It worked. He stirred the pot so perfectly that now everyone's asking the same burning question. What does Jason really know? And here's where things turn heavy fast. The internet went full Sherlock mode, connecting dots that stretched decades deep. That old Jay-Z and Aaliyah rumor? Back on the table. The Foxy Brown link? Yep. Crawling right back out of the shadows. All over everyone's timeline. And the deeper you dig, the harder it gets to pretend the pattern isn't there. Jay-Z's name has been floating in whispers for years, talk of younger women, shady power plays, and some seriously questionable alliances. If even half of that checks out, the empire he built starts looking a whole lot darker. Then enters Jaguar Wright, the industry's no-filter truth bomb. And she didn't bite her tongue for a second. She flat out said, Jay is worse than Diddy. Not louder, not sloppier, just smarter, quieter, and way more calculated. According to her, Jay's been pulling strings from the shadows, setting people up and letting them take the fall, while he keeps his own image sparkling clean. That's ice-cold strategy. And if Diddy's empire keeps crumbling under scandal, Jay might not walk away without catching some heat himself. Fans are already side-eyeing the strange tension between him and Beyoncé at recent events. Like at the Grammys, when Jay went on that long, fiery rant about how the awards never really honored her. But while he was going off, Beyoncé stood there stiff, calm, but icy. Something was clearly off. At first, Jay-Z's Grammy speech looked like a sweet, supportive husband moment. But on a closer look, the energy was weird. He never said her name, not once. No, my wife, no, my queen. Just this vague, distant lady. And Beyoncé? She didn't look touched. She looked exhausted. Like someone forcing a smile while choking down a scream. Right after that speech, they disappeared. No red carpet poses, no after-party glow, no mingling. Just grabbed Blue Ivy and dipped. Fans clocked that in seconds. Jay had just received the Global Impact Award, but instead of basking in the spotlight, he torched the Grammys, threw a half-baked compliment at Beyoncé and vanished. That's not normal behavior. Something's clearly off. Meanwhile, Beyoncé has been in full boss energy, rolling out her hair care line, dropping visuals, and pushing her brand like a woman on a mission. She's moving like someone building her own kingdom, far from Jay-Z's shadow. And fans don't think that's random. They're convinced she's stacking her power, getting ready to stand tall before the storm that's brewing finally explodes. Because if Jay-Z really gets pulled into Diddy's mess and more skeletons start crashing out of the closet, Beyoncé won't just need an emotional exit, she'll need a calculated one. And that's exactly what's making everyone's nerves spike. Jason Lee's timing wasn't random at all. He started dropping hints right after Cassie filed that lawsuit against Diddy. And there's no way that's just coincidence. Jason knew the public was already giving the industry the side-eye, dripping with fresh suspicion. So when he started tossing out those cryptic hints, it landed hard. Now everyone's stuck on the same question. Was Jason firing a warning shot at Beyoncé before unleashing the real bombshells? And Jay-Z's silence? It's become its own deafening noise. While the rumors spiral out of control and Jason plays puppet master with his secret stash of receipts, Jay-Z keeps that smooth, unbothered mask on in public. But behind the curtain, insiders claim he's in full damage control mode. Whispers say he's been quietly speed dialing lawyers.
A major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you. So why is everybody calling me?
Not just to contain the mess, but to gear up for an all-out war. Something massive is brewing, and everyone can feel the storm tightening in. If Jason actually lets those receipts loose, insiders claim Jay-Z's legal squad is already locked and loaded, watching Jason's every move, collecting clips, timestamps, and transcripts like they're assembling a legal grenade. And suing someone like Jason Lee might sound risky, but let's be real, this isn't uncharted ground. Celebs have been trying to muzzle stories with lawsuits, threats long before the truth ever saw the light of day. But here's the catch, the real question isn't whether Jay-Z has lawyers. It's whether those lawyers can actually stop what's already rolling full speed. Because this train's been barreling down the tracks for months, and it's not hitting the brakes. Meanwhile, Beyoncé isn't playing defense, she's in full PR queen mode. Smiling at events, dropping flawless photos, pushing her brand like everything's spotless. But fans aren't buying the fairy tale anymore. Not when the cracks are practically screaming through the screen. Some even swear that hair care line rollout was timed to the second.
Excellence, at least how they present themselves. But there are lots of things that people do say about these people behind the scenes. They do call
a slick distraction play to pull eyes away from the rising chaos. A business-first strategy to keep her empire rock solid if the truth ever explodes. And if it's anywhere near as bad as people suspect, she'll need every ounce of that preparation. Because behind all the headlines and whispers, what's really at stake isn't just a brand. It's a marriage dangling by its final thread. Jay-Z and Beyoncé didn't just build love, they built a billion-dollar empire. Music, fashion, business, and their kids, all tangled under one unstoppable name. So walking away isn't just emotional heartbreak. It's dismantling an entire kingdom. And that's exactly why many believe Beyoncé hasn't pulled the divorce trigger yet. Not because she's not ready, but because untangling their empire would be a full-blown war zone. Word on the street says they've both got dirt on each other. Some even whisper Beyoncé's got her own skeletons tucked deep away, and that's exactly why she's moving so strategically. Because if Beyoncé goes scorched earth and tries to burn Jay-Z down, he could drag her straight into the flames with him. It's a deadly game, a mutual checkmate. Neither can move without detonating everything they've built. So for now, silence is their sharpest weapon. But you know who couldn't care less about their silent standoff? Jason Lee. He's not here for peace or damage control. He thrives on chaos, feeding off every ounce of tension. He knows exactly how to keep the pot bubbling, dropping just enough juicy crumbs to keep fans locked in without spilling the full story. That's what makes this mess so dangerously addictive. He doesn't need to drop the whole bomb, just tease the chaos, and the world stays glued. He doesn't even have to say it all, just enough to keep everyone dangling on the edge. And let's be honest, the timing couldn't be crazier. The entire industry's shaking, and powerful names are getting exposed one by one. Legacies are crumbling, and fans are finally seeing their idols without the shine. In a climate like this, one perfectly timed leak could set the whole industry on fire. And Jason Lee knows that better than anyone. That's why he's not sprinting, he's waiting. Waiting for that precise moment when the shockwave goes global, the damage turns permanent, and he gets to smirk and say, "I told you so." The clock's ticking loud now. Beyoncé's fans are holding their breath. Jay-Z's camp is dead silent. And Jason? He's still out here grinning, teasing, and dropping hints like he's gripping the match to a fuse, ready to blow the whole thing sky high. Maybe he's bluffing, maybe he's not. But if Jason Lee ever decides to unload what he's sitting on, this won't just be another celebrity mess. It'll be the collapse of one of the most iconic power couples in music history. So tell me, what's your take? Is Jason for real, or just playing the long game? Drop your thoughts below.